Hi, it's Corey, the co-host of Bro Sports and host of Jerseys and Jail Cells, here to ask one favor to you guys. Please join our small but mighty channel to help us reach our goal of 100 subscribers by the end of April. And if we reach that goal, we will be doing a special edition podcast questionnaire of any question or idea that you guys might have down below in the comments of any of our podcasts. Thank you and enjoy the show. Welcome to Jerseys and Jail Cells, where we explore the stories behind the game, the victories, the challenges, and the decisions that shape careers. I'm Corey Raftery, here to guide you through the world of athletes, teams, and the choices that define them. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Jerseys and Jail Cells here on the YouTube channel Raftery Productions. I'm your host, Corey Raftery, and welcome to the first video podcast of the series. Now, we have an interesting case to take a look at today, as we're going to be looking at the case of Rae Carruth and Sherika Adams. Now, it's interesting on the basis that the authorities initially couldn't figure out what was going on in this case, and then they figured it out. But let's talk about who Rae Carruth was. He was a wide receiver that was drafted in 1997 by the Carolina Panthers, and in 1999 is when this case happened, and it happened to be done during the 1999 NFL season, and it's a really, really gruesome case. When you look at everything and all the details, it's very, very tragic and sad, quite frankly. He was reportedly with Sherika Adams at the time, and she was pregnant with his son, and when he was asked why he did what he did, it was on the basis of child support. Now, what did he do? Well, he allegedly and was convicted of conspiring to kill his girlfriend because he didn't want to pay child support. And it kind of backfired on him. They were driving in Charlotte, North Carolina, and all of a sudden, shots rang out. Then Sherika Adams was unfortunately, tragically shot, and it's a sad story because when you look at all the other circumstances of this case, as far as her being pregnant with a child and she was being fatally shot, they had to do some really last minute resorting to life-saving measures for that said child, who is now Chancellor Lee Adams, and he survived, but the effects to this tragic event was that Chancellor Lee Adams, Rae Carruth's son, ended up having cerebral palsy because of this, because he was born early. And if you know what cerebral palsy is, it's a neurological disorder that affects your speech, your body movements, and I guess what's the best part about this case is that not only did Chancellor Lee Adams make the best of his life after the unfortunate unaliving of his mother and his father not being in the picture because he was put in jail, it's he's made a change in his life that I'm so proud of. People who have a disability are able to make something out of their lives regardless of what they have. And as of recent, in 2021, Chancellor Lee Adams actually ends up graduating high school. And now he does bowling and horseback riding, which I think is really cool. And he also goes to the Panthers games, and that's just great. That's something like that in my heart is the best thing to see out of a really bad situation. And going back to Rae Carruth, he was sentenced to 18 to 24 years in prison and was recently released in 2018 because he served a sentence over this crime. But so this is what the crime was. He was charged with conspiracy to commit murder. Um, it he wasn't. They couldn't stick him on murder because he wasn't directly involved with the death of her, but he was he plotted against murdering her in the process, and that's the unfortunate aspect of this story. Is that someone had to die because of this, and we don't want to see people dying, and that seems like a reoccurring thing when it comes to these professional athletes. Is that once again they get involved with something they shouldn't, or they make irrational decisions that change their lives. And now, Rae Carruth has since been released. He has nothing to do with Chancellor Lee Adams. He hasn't seen him since his release. He is now supposedly reported to have remarried and changed his name completely, and is now kind of off the radar and out of the media, living in the Southeast. But it's such a tragic story because somebody had to lose their life and somebody's life got destroyed uh, because somebody's greediness, and the greed for money is a big issue, not only in the world but in sports. I feel like sports are the prime reason for people doing what they do because they get paid so much that they think that none of their money should go to anybody, whether it's a son or a wife or a girlfriend or whatever the case may be. I get it. They worked really hard for that to get to that point in their careers. But not being willing to share what your successes are with your family and with someone who you have deep care for is not you should not be having that. Like that's really really unfortunate. And I hope the best for Chancellor Lee Adams. He is living his best life now. He's 26 as of November of 2025, and he's living life. And that is the best part of this story, is that he his son didn't just turn around and have a really bad life. He ended up having a really good life. And Rae Carruth is kind of a piece of work, but it's okay. At the end of the day, people are going to do what they do. People are going to commit crimes the way that they do, and they're going to have their reasons as to why they were convicted of a crime and why they did those crimes. But that is all I have for you folks for this week's episode of Jerseys and Jail Cells here on the YouTube channel Raftery Productions. Welcome to the first video podcast of the series. Thank you and have a good one.